Hi guys, Paul from emodels.co.uk. Today we've got Tamiya's 1/6 Yamaha YZ250 Motocrosser. Big scale bike, first for me. I've made plenty of bikes in my time. All of them have been Tamiya. They've all been fantastic. The favourite of them was the Honda RC166. I sent some pictures to eModels, put on their Facebook page a few weeks back. Loved it. All went together fantastic. Came out looking absolutely stunning, so high hopes for this one. Like I say, it's a bigger kit, it's a 1/6, so quite a large kit. It certainly looks good from what I've seen anyway. So quick inbox review and then we'll start the build. So off with the lid. Some nice box art. I believe this kit was from 1974 originally, and quite recently been re-released. I assume it's going to be the same 1970s mouldings, but it looks a cracking bike. So here's the box art, so that's to one side. I'll just slide that out of the way. First off, we'll start with the instructions as always. Two sets, one in English and one I assume in Japanese. So the English is with the Japanese, so they can go to one side too. So again, side profile drawing, side profile picture again. Open it up. Slightly different layout to normal Tamiya instructions. There's actual highlights if there's a different colour. Whether it's a different colour, I'm not sure. Because the way that shows it there, that would be a different colour to the matte black shown. But I'm just assuming that's the call out for the whole colour, because from what I've seen, the engine is all matte black. So a bit of a strange one there, but nice clear instructions, as per normal with Tamiya. Nice handy little scale rule at the bottom that we've been measuring the hoses and what have you. They're always come with these bike kits. Bit of history there, as normal again on the Tamiya instructions, specifications of the bike and what have you. So it's always handy to know and nice to know. As we move through, obviously being a bike kit, it's not all glued together. You do screw a lot of these bits together. There's various different materials in the kit, rubber, plastic, metal, and obviously the screws, nuts, etc. to put on. So it's all clearly defined if it's a screw, a nut, etc. All done in nice simple stages as you go. They do build very nicely, these kits. Onto the wheels, what have you. Again, onto the forks, which I said, the actual metal pipe. Again, the handy scale rule. Painting tips for painting the bolts, all nicely done. So I can't see any problems there whatsoever. Onto the actual glossy painted part of fuel tank and fairings and what have you. So again, well called out. To the back again, you got the painting and applying decals, a few key points, notes and what have you, to be aware of. And as normal, the actual parts location on the sprues, which is always handy to have. And again, colour call outs to what's what and what have you. And again, more parts on the back. So as you can see, we've got springs in this, large threaded rods, bolts, the spanner, etc. So various different parts in there. If you built a Tamiya bike kit before, you know exactly what I mean. I'm assuming this, it's for the actual bike stand. So from the looks of it, the bike's got a kickstand, and it's also got the actual, I guess you call it a work-on stand, I'd call it. Not sure where I'll display it on. Can actually be a bit precarious on that, to be honest. So it more likely go on as kickstand for me. But there's instructions for building it anyway, so that's fine. Decals, plenty of different numbers. Again, in a bag but not sealed. I wish you'd just seal the bags up, and for some reason staple to the bag as well. So much easier just to seal the bag up. Protected from everything then. Can't stand staples. There we go. Normal obligatory paper type. So again, nice clear decals, good quality. Hopefully they'll stay in one piece when they go on. So everything looks fine there. Choice of numbers, colour backgrounds for the fairings and what have you. Unsure about number yet. I normally always pick 7 because 77 is my lucky number, but 7's not there unfortunately, so I'll pick a relevant number for that at a later date. So again, as always, pop them back in the bag, keep them safe. I always put them well out of the way, away from the kit, anything else I'm using on the workbench, just in case anything happens. We'll pop them in later. So, first bag, get a knife, there we go. So all black plastic, what looks to be all the major engine components, part of the seat back and what have you. So there's a little bit of flash evident, I'm not going to lie. It'll clean up very easily though, but there is flash there. I'm assuming these are going to be the original 70s moulds, but if I can find where I consider to be the worst, it's going to be on part of this. It looks like the carburettor. You can just see, if my camera will focus, right at the top there's flash evident there. It's nothing major, but it's just be aware there is flash there, and obviously when you're putting the parts together, quick clean up with a sanding sponge or stick, it'll be gone anyway. But I'm going to guess these are the original 70s moulds then, if we've got a bit of flash. So, a bit of a shame there, but I don't know of any other crosser kit on the market. I haven't seen one. As soon as I seen this one I thought, oh, that's different. I'll have a look at that one, but again, it's literally just around the outer edges. There's nothing in between any of the moulded parts, so it's just where they come out the mould. Again, if we look at like, I'm not going to pretend to know parts again, I'm not an expert, but it's a side of part of the engine casing. You can see the Yamaha nicely moulded, magnesium at the back, oil, 1000cc, and again at the top part, all crisply moulded, letters, numbers and what have you there, so that's good. So it is literally just the edge of all the parts with a bit of flash on, so not a major deal at all. Next one, keep picking the knife up, forgetting to Tamiya with staples. So again, out the way. So all these parts are chrome plated, I suppose you call it. Normally I'd strip all this off with a bit of Mr. Muscle and what have you and respray it my own colour. To be fair, it actually looks half decent. So what I'll have a look at, the major part is the parts you cut off the sprue, you're left without a silver on. You have to touch it up. If that can't be done without A being seen or B looking awful, I won't do it, and these will be stripped. But it's a shame to strip them because they are quite all plated, as you can see if I catch the light. It is very well done, so it would be a shame to lose it, but if we do, we do. Onto the frame components. Again, still going for the knife. Let's put that away. So these are the actual major components to the frame. So no real flash on that one, which is good to see. Nicely crisply moulded. So none there is. Quite a lot of injector pin marks, so but they're all going to be in places. Hopefully it can't be seen. There we go. First indication of just how big this thing's going to be. There's the frame. So it's going to be a good size. I think the specification said it's about 35 centimeters long. So it's certainly going to make a quite impressive kit. That's for sure. But it's the last few components that really show its size. We'll get to them in a minute. Here we go, some of the body panels. So we've got a rear, front mudguard, fuel tank, fairing covers, Rear mudguard. Now they are spot on, there's no flash on them anywhere. There's the stand there and what have you, so not a problem at all. No problem there. So these will probably be one of the first parts I get painted up, because it can be primed, taken back, primed again, given its base coat, a couple of top coats, flatted back again, and then more importantly it can be left to dry with its top coat on, its lacquer, so that when I come to actually decaling it and handling it, it's not still soft, there's no fingerprints on it and what have you. So that'll be one of the first things I do. Right, here's the first real indication of how big we are. So we'll get it out of the bag and I'll give it a bit of a size comparison. So normal Tamiya bottle, one of the wheels, yep, it's a monster of a kit. Normal 1/12 Tamiya bike, the wheels are probably about that size, so it's nearly double. Obviously it's a 1/6, so it is double, but it just shows the scale this thing actually is, so quite impressive. Again, the chromed parts, really nice. I'll be really reluctant to take those back and spray them, because I'll struggle to get a finish that good, even using the Howclads or any of the other metallizer paint. So that's going to be a real, I hope I can keep that. With those wheels I can see straight away I'll be able to, because all the, where the sprue actually attaches, they'll be where the tyres are, so they should be fine. And again, the handlebar, where all those parts attach, the grips will be there and that'll be attached to the frame, so they can be kept. So I'm going to try my very best not to strip it and see how we get on. So fingers crossed, we'll be fine. Oh, the last one, 2 boxes. The seat in Tamiya's typical soft rubbery type plastic, so gives a quite realistic finish. A few marks on top, obviously where it attaches on you can see the outline of it up the top, so yeah, not a problem. And these are the typical rubberized parts, I call them. It's very soft, flexible plastic. So we've got leads, and I'm assuming that's a HD lead. The grips are very nice, as you can see. It's all very nicely moulded and shaped. So again, no problems there whatsoever. And the last bag, which is all the bits and bobs. I've been dying to open this one, but I was leaving it for the review. So in there, I'm not going to open this one. I'm going to leave those in there. They're the 2 front forks. So as you can hear, they are metal. So again, it goes with a nice chrome part that are there. So hopefully I can leave all that on. Bag full of odd bits. So we've got screws, those threaded bars. I'll zoom in a little bit for these so you can see a bit better. So you've got threaded bars, screws, nuts, springs, and for some reason an elastic band, which I'm not 100% sure what it does, but I'm sure it's got a purpose. So again, I'm not going to open those. We've got some threaded actual rods in this one. One very large spring, which I'm assuming is a suspension part. More bolts, Allen head bolts and an Allen key. So as I said before, plenty of fittings. Here we go, here's one of the tyres, and I do need the knife now because that is sealed. So that's the front tyre. Absolutely huge. I mean, I've got big hands anyway. That's going to be quite an impressive model once done. As usual, it's got the centre mould line. I'm going to have to get rid of that. It's going to be fun to get rid of. Dunlop Sport around the edge, and catch the light, there we go. So again, another nice bit of detail down the rear tyre and what have you in this one. So again, the rear tyre exactly the same as the front, but much more knobbly. So again, Dunlop Sport Senior, all moulded in sizes, everything. So very realistic mouldings on the tyre. Not as much, I suppose you could call flash on the tyres, couldn't it? On the rear one, which is good. A lot on that front one though. Hose, so they'll be all cut to various lengths. I made a mistake in the Tamiya R166 of using some of this hose for things like, I think it was the HD leads and what have you. It was just too thick. It looked really out of place, and there were several different sizes in that one. So what I'll do this time is I'll use some plus model metal wire, which I've got in all the different sizes. I'm probably making it look a bit more realistic. I'll see what they look like, and obviously I'll compare it to online shots of the bike as well. But one mistake I regret last time was using all of the supplied hose. Some of it's fine, but some of it is just too out of scale, and it looks odd. So I'll certainly be careful on this one this time round. And last but not least, the 2 rubber boots for the front suspension fork. So I also believe the suspension works on this as well, which is nice. So they're nice and flexible, so they're going to add some nice detail to it and hopefully make this a very nice kit. I'm also toying with the idea, like I always do, of weathering this bike up as well, so make it look like it's been out for the day, fully mudded up and what have you. The only thing is, once I build them they look nice and shiny, I never want to do that, but I'll certainly give it a bit of thought. I think it looked good weathered. We'll play that one by ear and I'll see how I get on. Anyway, so we'll move straight on and we'll get started on the first stage. Right, okay, so first stage of construction, we're going to build the frame. So I've taken all the parts off the sprues, cleaned them up, sanded, polished, what have you. And this is where we're at now. So we've got several parts to attach. Some need gluing, some don't. Some are your normal plastic, model kit plastic obviously. Some are chromed parts, some are the more vinyl-y effect plastics you often get in these bike kits. So like I say, some are going to require gluing, some will need super glue because the chrome parts won't stick using normal model cement. So as we go through, we'll do the various stages. Once this is done, I'm going to give it a spray in gloss black, and that's the main frame done then. So it's quite a simple construction. We start step 1. It's one of the vinyl parts. Literally just sit in the base there. I'll zoom in a little bit. Sit in just there where my thumb is. The next one actually gets pushed through the frame. It's this step. This step here. You can see it there. It gets pushed through as a little slot on the outside of the frame. Not sure why it's done like that. Obviously for a reason. To make it look like bushes for where the actual forks will go through. The steering part. So why it's removable, I'm not quite sure, but maybe that'll become more apparent at a later stage. So we'll pop them in. Pop the 2 frame halves together, which I have done them, dry fitted them as such to make sure there was no fit issues. So there we go, there's the actual 2 halves together. Next step we'll actually glue some of this together, just to give it a bit of purchase and save me having to hold everything. So just like normal with the extra thin, don't go mad. Just enough to cover where you need gluing. You don't want it everywhere because all that makes is harder work for yourself, cleaning up afterwards before you start spraying. So literally dab it all in there. So again, be careful of your fingers underneath. Make sure you get all along. Every little bit. So there we go, there's that underneath. Do you see the extra thin as normal? Capillary action just takes it straight through. Makes gluing so much easier than the likes of the Revel in the tube with a little needle that always blocks and what have you, or even worse, the older Airfix type in the squeezy tube. This is the only glue I use. I used to use the Pro Weld in the bottle, but I was forever knocking it over because it's in a bottle, which compared to that is like yay high. I've forever destroyed most of my cutting mats with that stuff because it just melts everything when it falls off. You have to use a paintbrush as well. It does work very well, I'll admit that, but I do prefer the Tamiya. One thing I will try at a later date is some of the Mr. Hobby, but for now Tamiya is what I use. And there was a shortage of it at one point because due to lack of safety instructions on the rear, they were stopped importing it to the UK. I got all mine from the States. I've still got a few bottles left, but I think it's slowly coming back to the country now. So there we go. Make sure we give it a good press together to make sure all the parts go. So next part, we'll leave those off for now. They can go on last. We will attach this part, which make sure you get the orientation right, goes that way. And the nice thing is all these little parts have like a lug system, so you get them the way they're supposed to be, because obviously things like that can rotate 360 degrees. With the lugs on, if you watch, it will only move a few degrees out of the way, so pop it in the middle. Bit of glue either side. Little squeeze together. Again, make sure there's none on your fingers. So there we go. There's that one part. Next one is these two little parts. They're a bit tricky, these. I've tested them before to make sure they fit. They were quite tricky to get in position. So, if we just have a look how the orientation goes, which is like that and like that. So again, one lug fits in, only allows it to go one way, so a little bit of glue in those parts. So just hold that together for a second or two, and then double check orientation on the model, which is that way. We fit in there. So I'm just going to leave it on the desk just because it's a little bit easier for me to orientate where I want it. Which I believe is there. I think that's in the right position. Let's have a look. So yeah, it shouldn't move past a certain point. Now when I let go of that, it's going to spring. Yep, so we're going to need some glue. Just use the car alarm going off in the background. Windows open today as it's a nice day. So again, a bit of glue. Drop of glue. You also have to excuse the snoring Labrador in the background. So I think it's going to need holding for a little bit, so let's see where it does when we let go. No, it's got it. Okay, next part is, we'll do the slower one first, which is this. To me it looks like some sort of bracket. So again, a little bit of glue. Check the orientation, pop it in, a little squeeze, and any parts that get pushed through like that just has, you can see it, are just there above my fingertip. You can see the two little lugs are coming through. I like to put a little bit on the back, like so. So I'm assuming by looking at that some sort of bracket, but I'm not 100% sure. So next one is this. Slot in there like that. That. Just helps us get in the right position. There we go. So again, hold it and that ties into the rear section then. So there we go. Sure I've got in the right position, which it looks like we have. And then we'll glue that very rear section there together, like so. Sure it's in where we want it. Just hold it for a second. So one more part, and then the final and chrome part, and that's the frame basically done. We'll put that to one side, let everything dry, give it a good clean up with a polishing sponge, and then we'll go to the spray booth. And I think, like I did with my Yamaha RC166, it requires a gloss black. We'll give it a spray in Alclad gloss black base, which is actually, well, it's technically a primer I suppose, but it does give a very nice hardware and gloss finish. It's exactly what I used on my Yamaha, and it worked very well. So I think it'll be the case for this as well. Last major part is this, which sits in just on the top, like so. Again, typical Tamiya kit, even though I'm told, I believe it's a 70s kit, still slots together very well. Tamiya have been doing this for a long time now, and they certainly know what they're doing. Certainly other companies' kits from the 70s are nowhere near this quality. So there we go, that's that one in. So just give that a hold for a second. Next part is this, which is that other vinyl part. So according to instructions, you see the little, look at the light, you see the little recess there, that slots in there, like so. Not quite sure why, maybe the reason will become more apparent later. And our last part sits atop. Oh, doesn't want to play ball, like so. We might actually be able to glue that because there's no chrome underneath it, so we'll give it a go and see where it does. Like I said in the review before, I am planning on keeping all these chrome parts. I'm not going to strip them like I usually do. So there's always going to be an area it needs touching up where it's taken off from the sprue. So I'm going to sit it at the back, like so. So the bit that needs touching up is actually right there. So it should be out of plain view really as such. And obviously we can touch that up at the very end with a bit of chrome paint and what have you. So there we go, there's the main frame together. As you can see, it's going to be quite an impressive model, it's quite big. So that's all going to be allowed to dry. I'll clean it all up, then we'll go over to the spray booth and give it a coat of gloss black Alclad. Right, okay, we're over in the spray booth. The bike frame, I've put on a pair of tweezers as always, so I don't have to handle it. All been sanded off, smoothed off, one little bit of filler just up in this area here. You can probably just about make it out, very very thin amount. Not the kit's fault, my fault. Gluing it, foam went, didn't hold together, and it's dried with a very very slight gap, a real hair's width. Well, the mistake, I put the chrome part on, didn't I? Then realised, what am I doing? I'm spraying this, so took that back off quickly. So we're all ready to go. So like I say, popped it in here, it's on those bushes that we put in before, so working quite well. So what we're going to paint it in, I just move that, is Alclad's gloss black base. Fantastic stuff, primarily used for glossy undercoat primer for the Alcalad metal finishes. If I just grab a bottle like this, dull aluminium, etc, etc, works very well as a gloss black base. Gives a very shiny metal finish. If anybody's seen eModels Facebook page, you'll see my P51, the Airfix one I did recently, and the finish just fantastic. Really does work very well. And I say on my RC166 Honda, it's what I used on the frame, and I give a very nice hard wearing gloss black finish. So that's what I'm going to be using on this. So colour cup's got about 2 mil in there. Using my new Iwata Revolution. This is what I use just for my cellulose paints. I've got others for other ones because I've had terrible trouble mixing different types of paint. Some of them really don't like cellulose thinner, the likes of Vallejo, and more so the Vallejo varnishes hate it, as do extra acrylics, and you just end up with a terrible gooey gunk in there. So my current airbrush count is now 4. I think I'm going to call it the quits at that now. But one for each different type of paint. I've got one for Mr. Hobby and Tamiya, one for Vallejos, one for cellulose based, and one for clear coats. I've got the Iwata Neo used for that. So on with the spray booth and we'll get going. So like I just said, these are cellulose based. They're very nasty for your lungs, so you really do need an extractor, or at the very least a very well ventilated room and a face mask. I would normally have a mask on too, but obviously because I'm filming you won't be able to hear me. So as normal, make sure your pressure's set at around the 10 to 15 psi, which mine's not. It is now. There are instructions to follow on the can. So spray at 15 psi, which is what I'm at now. As with all paints, don't go piling it on straight away. A nice coat all round, a little dust, just to get things going. And once you've got a dusty coat on, you can come back, start applying it a little bit thicker. We've got quite a large frame to cover here, so I think it's going to take quite a while to paint. Use about half that paint in there now. Quite tricky on this thing because it keeps spinning on me, but we'll get it all done. Pay particular attention to all the recesses, the inside parts and what have you. Make sure you get up underneath. Everywhere you possibly can. So if I catch them like there, you'll start to see that shine on the front part building up. And there's that colour cup empty, so pop that down there. Pop a little bit more in. I'll carry on with this and then come back once it's done. Right, okay, so we're out of the spray booth. This is where we're at now. We're already dry, the beauty of Alcalads. They don't stay tacky. This is probably 5 minutes since I've been in the airbrush booth. Just literally clean my airbrush, give it a good rinse through and what have you. You look at that shine, nice glossy finish. You really can't beat this as a nice gloss base without being a perfect gloss base. Like I said, if I was to take it back with some wet and dry and go over again, it would go absolutely super smooth, but for me that just gives a nice shiny finish to a frame, which will look good in amongst all the other engine bits and what have you. So that's us for part 1 today. Obviously the review's taken up the majority of this video, so we'll be back in part 2, which we'll start assembling the engine, getting that all together, and hopefully we'll be to this stage next time, put the engine into the actual frame itself, but we'll see how we get on anyway. So part 2 will be done as soon as possible and up on eModels YouTube channel. So paulofmodels.co.uk. Have a look on eModels website. Loads of new things being added all the time. Check out the YouTube channel. Plenty of videos from eModels themselves and from me. There's the F22 build and the ME109 build on there now, as well as Mr. Hobby Paint review. Subscribe to YouTube channel, comment on anything you want to see, comment on this, anything you want to see done, you want to know how to do anything, etc, etc, and check out eModels Facebook page as well, and like that as well. So I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks for watching.